Jessie.
Hello. we've been chatting for like 10 whole minutes here, if not longer, about shit. It's like we should have just been recording a while ago.
Honestly, we started at Superman and made our way all the way to Desperate Housewives as conservative propaganda.
Yeah. Well, like, because you were just talking about right before we record, like the Desperate Housewives, like just making everybody like like get pregnant and like coming and getting like being like, ooh, kids are a blessing. I need to tell you, you don't watch Doctor Who. Do you know anything about Doctor Who? I don't know if you know. Okay, I'll try and make this like for like non Doctor Who brain. The literal recent season, they have this character who, like, the Doctor is the one traveling in space and time, and they make the character, he's a gay black man, like a very overtly, like, he hits on all the dudes and all this stuff. In the penultimate episode, like the 2-part episode of the season, they have a conservative character, like literally right-wing podcaster. They like have a whole episode about him being like literal fascist right-wing podcaster, bro. He gets control of this ability to like change reality and literally makes his conservative fascist utopia where everyone is literally like in a suburban house, has like the women work at home, like they don't do anything else. They raise their kid. Everyone has like a baby. And so this gay black doctor and this woman are like married and have this kid that they've never had in the show before, and they're forced to have it. And like it's literally about like the whole episode's like, hey, this is a fascist utopia. They beat that, and then in the next episode, the entire next episode is like, all right, well, we beat the fascist weird utopia, but we still need to save this baby that we never had before, because babies are precious and can like be our future. And so they literally take the like doctor's character, like his companion, say, hey, you never were a mom before, but now you're the mom. We're gonna literally shove you in a box for safety where you're just gonna protect the kid. Like literally all the actions going on, they shove her in a literal box and say, you're here for safety. We'll go fight the bad guy, beat the bad guy, and then they rewrite reality so that she's always been a single mom and has been like raising her kid on her own, having never expressed at any point in the series before then that she wanted to be a mom. And the show just goes like, isn't this wonderful and amazing? And I'm like, what the fuck is you're like weirdly defending this fascist wet dream nonsense.
Let me tell you. Desperate Housewives does not even try to be like, isn't this great? Desperate Housewives be like, isn't this awful? It would be selfish of you to do differently, though.
Yes, yeah.
Desperate Housewives, like the two men. So there's 4 women. They're all ass in their own respects, right? But I would say Lynette and Bree to me are the favorite, are my favorite ones, which is funny because both of the creator of Desperate Housewives is a gay Republican, which in and of itself should tell you why there's so much fuck shit. This show don't know what it's doing. But he writes Lynette and Bree's character are both based on his mother. So they even though they seem different, 2 halves of the same coins. And like Bree is outright a Republican on the show, like a part of her identity, but the whole show is conservative propaganda. So they have 2 characters. So Lynette and Gabrielle both did not want kids. We both know that they did not want children. In Gabrielle's case, she got married to Carlos on this explicit condition that they did not want and would not have children. Lynette was like, she had a job. She was an ad exec doing well. That's what she wanted to do. She didn't want to get married, let alone have kids. Not only did they ever get married and have a kid, they have 4 kids initially, right? 4 children. And Tom makes her quit her job to stay home taking these fucking children. We watch Lynette for season after season after season, tired, overwhelmed, ass getting bust, miserable. They can jump into the future. My gal is still miserable raising these kids. And they say, you know what we should do? Wouldn't it be great if we had to get pregnant again?
Jesus Christ.
And then I want you to know, in the show, the word abortion is never even uttered. You can't even utter it. What happens is the women express a little bit of dissatisfaction, and immediately another character is like, don't say that. You know what I mean?
Children are precious and amazing. Yeah.
No, I'm like, this lady's a middle-aged lady who's already had 4 children. She's tired. She didn't even want them. Now they're going to make her have these fish. And not only did she get pregnant with this 5th baby, they're twins. Then they say another pair of twins. And then when she tries to express to her husband, like, I'm not happy. Like, I am not happy. I don't feel like I love these babies. I'm not attached to them. I want to bring them. He's like, Lynette, never say that again. You don't mean that. And then when she tries to like express it to her friend, Susan, I hate Susan's bitch ass. Susan's ass has 1 child. So Susan, I'm gonna write a whole video about the adultification of children and weaponized incompetence and fucking shitty parents, i.e. Susan. Like Susan had one baby, one daughter who she had the daughter raised in home. So the daughter is raising Susan. Now Susan got one little baby boy that she's only had for 2 seconds, and she barely doing it anywhere. Susan when Lynette, who already has 4 children who stay in trouble. Like four, I don't want you to these 4 good, polite, well-mannered babies. These 4 hooligans. Like, so when Lynette goes to be like, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not happy.
I'm tired.
She goes, what I know is I was thinking about my daughter today, and I don't know what life would be like without her. Children are blessings. I was like, and then Lynette was like, I know, I know, you're right. And then the next thing you know, my gal have to have these babies, and I'm like, and if you think that, and that one is nowhere near as bad as what they do to Gabrielle, who's played by Eva Longoria. Now, the one who I said explicitly said I don't want no kids. Her husband decides he wants kids because their marriage is shitty. Think about that. Their marriage sucks. She's cheating with the teenage gardener. That's a whole nother separate.
So it's the child like saves our relationship shit.
Right. We gotta let her have a kid. She doesn't want the kid. So what he does is switches out her birth control with some other bullshit to make it. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And the show is just like, there's no problem.
That's cute. That's fine.
Like
boys being boys.
That Carlos. So he switches out the birth control so that she get pregnant. Like, so that she'll get pregnant. Then when she gets pregnant, she finds out the show, they have a go to church. The pastor's just like, oh, you. I'm like, the priest he tells her, like, oh, she has to have a baby. And then eventually they have it where the baby, like, she miscarries. Miscarries anyway. You think, oh, thank God, free her. You know what I mean? Like, only for them to jump in the time jump, and they've given her not 1 but 2 children, and they have it in the house, fucking broke down, bust up, tired over it, and it's like. And then the next thing you know, they have a character talking about how I'm defined by my motherhood. You know, would people judge my success? But I'm like, this woman didn't want no cheering. How are you doing this? Like,
that's so fascinating coming from like a gay Republican. It just feels weird, like so overtly misogynistic in that like very like specific gay Republican kind of way of like, oh, we just fucking hate women. They should just be like mothers. And like, I'd actually like, there's not even, and it's not even like a, like, oh, that right-wing thing of like, well, women love being like, there's an inherent love. It's like, nah, they hate it, but like, that's what they should be fucking doing. That's so wild.
That's literally, they hate it, but that's what they're supposed to be doing. He reinforces that a million times throughout the series. The amount of, you could drown yourself in the conservative propaganda that is in Desperate Housewives. It's not even, it's literally like, in season 2, they straight up invoke slave imagery. Like, I swear. Oh, what? Y'all don't even. Oh, Lord.
Because my only awareness of this show really is like I used to watch Lost, and like Lost would have like cutaways to like commercials to Desperate Housewives. So like my only awareness is like random commercials on ABC whenever it like aired. That's like my only consciousness.
Jesse, I'm gonna put out a Desperate Housewives with conservative propaganda video, but honestly,
I am looking forward to
watch it to believe it. It throughout the show, to your point about the overt misogyny, throughout the husbands are the worst. I mean, the worst. The most bottom of the barrel ass husbands. And the show will have them randomly, like, have a character reprimand one of the women for emasculating one of these bum ass men.
Of course, yeah.
Like, regularly. Meanwhile, the husband's doing all kind of fuck in their pain. Like, in season 6, there's a new couple that moved to town. That's the ones I told you, the conservative propaganda making them the eco-terrorists, the people, the people who care about global warming, they're the terrorists, right? All right, that's the big bad evil guy. And the hero is, so this is the storyline. Season 6, this woman and her husband.
This video is just you explaining Desperate Housewives to me. I love it. It's fantastic.
Dummy going and checking the analytics. Do we have too much of a crossover from Illuminati Pop over here? No? Okay, she's not spoiling the entire script.
So it'll be new information. So in Desperate Housewives, in season 6, they have the new people that moved to the town, the eco-terrorists, is this woman, her husband, and the son. You find out later that they are on the run. They've been on the run for all this time because back in the day, she got this big bad eco-terrorist, this cult. They talking about them like, the climate activists.
Yes, of course. Like it's all made up, and like I can see it's still snowing outside. So where's global warming? Yeah. That's
and
it.
they keep talking about. It's funny, like the propaganda is so serious that they like repeatedly like constantly refer to them as a terrorist. Always talking about this bomb and what blew up or whatever, and that someone died, but never told you like what it was they were protesting, what the bomb was for, what the anything. You know what I mean? It's just like. And they make her out to, so she's involved with this guy and she has a baby and she makes a bomb for like, they make a bomb to do some climate activists. They don't give you no real specifics. And then the FBI agent that's supposed to come like arrest them and investigate them. Instead, him and her fall in love and they run off and he raises the baby and they end up in Wisteria Lane. Now think about this shit. The FBI agent, right? The undercover, they are now on the run. First of all, as if it doesn't scream unethical as fuck that you were supposed to be on the job investigating the terrorists or whatever, and you somehow fell in love. What opportunity did he have to fall in love naturally with this young woman that he's supposed to be investigating? And get the fuck out of here. Like, do we even hear this story, right? Like, what kind of, and they paint it too, like, by the way, like they run off together, him and her, and they paint it like she did something that has cost him, like throughout the show, because the season starts off when we meet this guy because he's a piece of shit. He's cheating on her with the young girls in the neighborhood.
Of course. Well, he's an FBI agent too, so like fuck him. Yeah.
Right, piece of shit who's cheating and giving his son all kind of grief. And then by the end,
but it's of course a woman's fault. Yeah.
Nothing changed. Like nothing about him changed. They just suddenly started talking about him like he was the world's greatest dad and this hero who did so much for their family. And I'm like, wait, time out. What are we talking about? This man is unethical and fucking the people that he's supposedly investigating. He's fucking this young woman. He runs off with her, telling in and of itself, the fact that he gets her to run away with him and the kid saying like, oh, the FBI's after him for 20 years. According to this man who has an invested interest in having you on the run with him, then you move to a town because you're on the run and all he does is cheat on you. And it's painted like, well, that's what you owe him one because what? Because you did a crime that you'd already did before you met him that he was supposed to lock you up for, and he decided voluntarily to fuck you, start a relationship with you and run off. How do you owe him for him being cheating? And then he was not just cheating, he specifically fucked the young girl that his son liked. And then just like,
Jesus Christ.
What a hero, this FBI agent, evil eco-terrorist.
That's so fucking weird.
I'm telling you.
I don't even know how to like, I don't even know how to like parse that. Like, cause it just seems incoherent. Like, weird, like, oh, we just always need to be on the FBI agent side and dude's side. But like, how do you get there from like displaying him being an asset like that? Like, I don't necessarily,
because they go and they make the eco-terrorist guy like cartoonishly evil. Like he's just
of course,
evil guy who wants to blow up stuff and blah, 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 blah. And they make him out to be like, and I'm just like, you're working overtime. Like it was like he had covered all the conservative propaganda, all the like evil. Like he'd already done everything he could. Like he'd done ableism, he'd done racism, he'd done sexism, he'd done misogyny. You
gotta do the terror. Gotta do terror.
What left? What else could I do for my team? What else could I make sure I advance for the home team? Right. Anti-climate activism.
It reminds me of like again, I'm gonna go back to nerd shit, but like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if you ever saw that show, where like that's it's much more like establishment Democrat, like liberal show, where they have like this character who she runs a revolutionary group that is basically trying to fight for refugees. She's like fighting for refugees, and she's trying to like help people who have been displaced, and like they're trying to resettle them, and she's like trying to be like, no, we need to like actually find them a home. And then for no reason whatsoever, like at all, she puts a bomb in the building and they're leaving, and then she just blows it up. And then she just all of a sudden just goes like, well, we need to speak in a language these people understand, just randomly killing people.
It was an orphanage.
It was an was it an orphanage?
It was an orphanage.
So she just blows up a fucking orphanage for no fucking reason.
No reason but to be evil.
The pretense for that group to exist is that when the snap happened and half the world disappeared, like kind of country borders became very fluid. and governments were kind of in shambles.
Which
so
is
people
interesting.
were displaced, and they, like all over the world, people were displaced, even in like white establishment places that wouldn't normally experience that, were experiencing displacement. And that group was called the Flag Smashers because they
were an
wanted to
anarchist-
keep it the way they were when
Yeah.
when the borders disappeared. And then when everybody comes back and suddenly people are like, all right, we're upholding these borders again, time to like kick everybody out of like places they just moved to because like half the world disappeared. Like they're trying to pretend like it's normal and nothing ever happened. And then, like Jessie said, this group that was making total sense the
Just
entire
all of a
time,
sudden
I was
blow
like,
shit
why
up.
are they the bad guys?
Also,
kills people.
also that they could get Captain America, Falcon at that point in the show, to like go and be like, I agree with your method. I agree with your points, but I disagree with your methods. So he can have the moral superiority stance. Also, at the end of the show, they can literally like have this whole side plot acknowledging like the history of like America experimenting on people of color and like mistreating black people and underfunding black. They have this whole subplot and him like wrestling with like, I don't know if I can stand for America because of that history. And then at the end it's sort of like, well, I'm gonna stand up to American government, and all he does is like point at a senator and say, do better. He literally says, do better, senator. That's all he does. He literally goes to a senator and says, do better. Like that's literally the line. You've got to do better, senator. And then that's like the big triumphant. That's like the big triumphant moment.
Because that is the extent to which they can stomach any level of resistance.
Yeah.
Do better. And
Yeah.
I think the thing that irritates me most about these storylines is they always, if you didn't know better, you would think that the power, the structure that's being fought back doesn't kill people. Because the way any level of resistance is treated, if one person dies, all of a sudden they're bad. It doesn't matter how it happened. They are bad. They are the bad guys. They are evil. It doesn't matter what your cause is. And I'm like, are we suggesting that America does not kill?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just magnanimous. It's trying. It's it sometimes screws up, but it's doing a good job, right? It doesn't kill anybody.
This guy's so evil because he killed this. Because one person died in this explosion and he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, oh, this is it's gonna happen. And I'm like, oh, because we've never heard that stance taken before on a much larger scale. And it's funny, similarly to the random, having him do something random just to solidify his real evil. They have it where, so it was his kid that the kid that she had was with him.
The eco-terrorist?
Immediately and raised the kid with the FBI agent, as though the FBI agent was the daddy and never told the kid that that's his dad. So that guy's been looking for them for 20 years. So why would he be looking for them for 20 years? Because he wants his son. And then say, let me blow up the son.
That's so weird. Yeah, because it just has to show that they have no actual fucking morals and like they're evil. They're just inherently evil.
These people don't have any true crusade. The crusade isn't true. They're lying to you. They're just evil people who want an avenue to do evil shit.
Okay, so again, bringing it back to Doctor Who, there is an episode in this season as well that was also fucking horrible, where it's literally a Eurovision metaphor where they go to an alien planet and they're doing a Eurovision style like concert, whatever, right? And then we learn that there is a group of people, like there's a corporation that funds Eurovision, the space Eurovision, and they literally like colonized and killed a planet of people. It's very much like doing an overt like Israel-Palestine metaphor. Yeah. So we have these people who have been literally killed by this corporation, colonized. They take over the Eurovision thing as like terrorists and then literally their plan is they kill the entire crowd, and then they're gonna like sci-fi bullshit, send a signal in to kill everyone watching the show. So they literally make a point of saying he's going to kill 15 billion people to send a message. Like the number is ridiculously over the top. And then like Doctor Who beats him and like has this whole speech where like Doctor Who literally tortures him in front of people and like goes too far. And his literal point is, you don't care about actually fighting for like liberation. You just want to hurt people because that's who you really are. You're just a bully.
Yeah.
And it's like making this fucking point of like, oh, any of these like revolutionary fighters are people fighting oppression don't actually give a fuck. They just want to like hurt people because they're bullies. And it's just like this constant, it's this constant need for the status quo to like reinforce this idea of like, oh, the oppressed people all they really want is just to be oppressors. So it's like, it's better that we're the ones that oppress them because we're the more magnanimous, kinder ones. Like, yeah, we may have done some bad things, but ultimately in a good of our heart, we'll try and do better in the future. We'll listen, we'll take it under advisement. But no, we have to propagandize but actually though, these people are actually really pieces of shit.
Only the power structure's feelings are genuine. Like no matter how much fucked up shit they do, like they are justice minded. They're what's right, but everybody else is evil.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about this because I said earlier I'm rewatching Doctor Who right now, like from the 2005 season 1, which I wish Eccleston got more than one season. He was fantastic.
Yeah. And it's so weird. Oh, sorry, you go on. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a side note. Like I thought I wish he had more time because he was fantastic. But literally in one of the episodes towards the end of season 1, we get a return of a villain that was on like episode 3 or whatever, who was going to blow up the entire planet and like sell it for scrap to other people.
The fart aliens, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the fart aliens. Why'd you have to say that part? Because it sounds so ridiculous.
It's an aliens that like fart a lot. It's very
Why?
Well,
Why?
Well, they fart because they're huge and they have to be inside a human skin suit and it's too tight for them. So like they have to release gas to release pressure. But it just looks like them farting, like fat people who are farting and going.
Yeah. There's some anti-fatness in there, like baked into that. However, the point that it was also trying to make is they take over the government in that episode, and I actually don't hate it because it's literally like saying like, hey, the people who run the UK government are like just farting alien pieces of shit. Like there's some anti-fatness in that I don't like, but I do at least like the like oh yeah, the people who run the government are just pieces of shit. Yeah,
because they didn't even know who. They're like, who's that guy going in there? It's like, oh no, they were dumb. But anyway, this lady comes back. They catch her because they're like, hey, we thought you were dead because we like blew all of you up before you could like kill the whole planet. And she's like, actually, I'm not dead. And I was actually going to try and blow the planet up again so that I could escape because I don't have another way to escape. And instead of like, like punishing her, blowing her up so that she doesn't like do that or whatever, Doctor Who's like, we're going to send you back to your home planet. Just to get you off of Earth because we need you to just not come back here. And she's like, oh, well, actually, if you send me back, I'm going to be executed immediately because my family was charged with like crimes by like the government of my planet. So they will kill me. And it becomes this whole moral dilemma of like that this like bad guy is placing of like, you're sending me to my death. You are killing me. Even though you're saying you're sending me there because you don't want to kill me, you want to send me home. Right. And the doctor's like, the doctor was like, well, I don't make the law. And she's like, well, you're enforcing it. And I'm just like, she's right. That's literally what you're doing.
It's also Doctor Who is so fascinating too, because the showrunner of those early seasons is like he ran it for like several years, and then he's a gay guy, and he wrote like very like progressive leaning stuff, like very anti-Trump stuff, like Years and Years is a very anti-Trump show that he wrote, and very queer focused show. But now he's back in the new series and he's writing all these like very terrible takes, or like at least show running very terrible
takes. Is it Moffat?
No, Mo, it's Russell T Davies. He's the original showrunner of the new version of Doctor Who, and now is back for this. But there's even stuff that Russell, like the original run of Russell T Davies stuff that I really liked. Like he did this Torchwood show, and there's a really great season of that show where it's one of the most chilling like episodes of anything I've ever watched to this day, where they have these aliens come to Earth, and they literally go, hey, we will blow up your planet unless you give us 1/3 of the population of your children, and we use your children as like opium. We get high off of them. And like that cuts into the scene where we watch all of these government officials, like the prime minister, the president, like all of these government officials basically be like, that's horrible, but then logic their way into, oh yeah, we'll just do it because it's the only way. Like it's this very like bureaucratic language of, oh yeah, we of course we'll give them our kids because that's the best way. And then they create this whole lottery where it's like, oh, we'll make it be the poor people who have to like send their kids. And it's like, but like, well, like it'll be a lottery, but more than likely it'll be most of the like people of color and the poor kids that have to go, and we'll exempt our children. And it's like, it's just like a whole like 20-minute scene of like them just going through all of this to get to the point of like, oh, this is horrifying, we should fight back, to no, we'll definitely do it, and we'll like make the poor people have to like give up their kids. And it's like a really, really well done scene, and like very anti like, you know, government bureaucracy. And then we get to today and it's just like, yeah, no, but the Palestinians really are like evil people who just are trying to kill others. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Is that
So
what they? Oh my god, it's so wild. It is.
yeah.
It is so wild. That reminds me of our original. We'd been talking about Superman being woke prior to this. Since you're just going to see that tonight, I will not be joining him.
I will say I
Me and
won't
my wife
spoil
are
'cause
excited to see it. I need to see it.
I won't spoil the movie for people who haven't seen it. What I will say is I've really, really loved it. I've generally really loved James Gunn as a filmmaker. I've been a big fan of his, generally speaking. Because the movie is like, it is actually very pro-immigrant. Like, it has very explicit lines about like people like Lex Luthor calling him an alien, like Lex Luthor being very Elon Musk coded, calling him an alien, and Superman being like, no, I'm a human being because I actually like try to take care of, like, I may be an alien, but it's like I try to reach out and form community and take care of others. Like a whole bit about that. It's also very pro-Palestine, like very clearly like Superman's on the side of Palestine and like oppressed people. And so like there's like a whole sequence on that. And very anti-Elon Musk and everything. So like it's a really, really great movie. But it's fascinating to me in the discourse around the movie is like they're like the right wing, and we were kind of talking about this beforehand, is just getting all upset about it because it's pro-immigrant just on the basis of like, he literally is an immigrant. He is literally just an alien who came to America and like lived here. And that's why they're calling it woke. But that's just like the factual textual element of the character that has nothing to do with like the movie. It is a theme, but that is just a factual element that they're getting pissy about.
They truly, immigrant for them is only for the non-desirables. That's what
Yeah.
I was saying. That's why even in the same way that they don't like to see themselves like, oh, anybody that's non-black, non-brown, those people are not immigrants. But even so, when like Americans go anywhere else to anybody else's country, they never want to be immigrants. It's always expats. It's always some bullshit that they've come up with. And it also just, it's a reminder of how important language is and how much these people know it, because they gaslight you.
Yep.
When you try to tell them the importance of why they shouldn't call people certain things and X, Y, Z, they act like everybody, oh, hysterical, da da da, blah, blah. But they fucking know, because why don't you want to be an immigrant? Why have you come up with expat for your bullshit?
Yep, because it's like only brown people, like, and again, it goes like the Superman thing. It's like, of course, Superman, they don't see Superman as an immigrant because he's white. So it's like, yeah, only brown people can be immigrants because that's how they propagandize and dehumanize, right?
And we internalize it because, like, I'm from the Bahamas, and the Bahamas obviously major tourist destination. Tourism is our number one industry. And the amount of times that I have heard Bahamians call white people, white immigrants, expats, because they call themselves that, not question it, but they'll call every Haitian, every Nigerian, every whatever, all of them is immigrants, all of them is foreigners, but the white people are expats. So you internalize the nonsense. I hate it. That's why I make it my business. As soon as I see expat, infuriates. When I tell you, I unfollowed a creator the other day, like, that I follow, like, I saw, oh, she moved to the, I'm an expat. I said, expat. So whatever would make you expat. I've followed at least like 3 to 5 people in the last month or so for calling themselves expats. I'm like, you better stop playing with me. God damn it.
It's fascinating because I have a friend of mine. She's French, but she's also black, and like she's always fascinated by, no one ever believes her that, like, she speaks with a very clear French accent, and no one believes her that she's French, because they're always like, well, where are you actually from before that? She's like, I was born in France. I am from France, and everyone's just like, and whenever she says that, like, yeah, but where before that? It's like, France, that's where I'm fucking from. And it's just like, because she's black, she cannot be like, she cannot be European. She has to be from somewhere else.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah. It's
what was I gonna say? I had a thing I was about to tell you. It was like, I seen two, and I thought it was funny. 2 people I went to school with, I saw posting like this long little journey thing about how they had been tired of financially struggling in America, and so they saved their money and quit their jobs, and they moved to like maybe Mexico or somewhere, and they were like, oh, They call themselves expats. And I'm like, are you not literally textbook definition? You are an immigrant. First of all, expat is literally immigrant. It is literally just fancy. I don't want to be an immigrant. I've come up with a different word for it. But it doesn't have some special new criteria or anything like that. It literally is just immigrant. But it's funny to me that you want to call yourself that because you want to distance yourself from what people associate with why someone would immigrate, all the while explaining the same fucking story. You just said y'all tired of struggling here. You feel like y'all can't make enough money. You don't like life here, and so you went to another country. Now, what the fuck does that sound like?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It took me everything in me not to DM them. Like, hey, look here, this is egregious.
And it's something that too. I've been looking into. We've been starting the process on it with my fiance of like potentially trying to move to Canada and like trying to be like refugees there because of being trans right now.
Yeah.
And like it's a fascinating thing that people are like, oh, you can be a refugee. It's like, yeah, this country treats us like shit. Like we want to escape this fucking situation. I have no problem calling myself an immigrant or a refugee because that's what we want to try and be. It's fucking
yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and it's just so baked into this country too. Of like yesterday, or it was 2 days ago, I was just taking a walk around I was going to there's a grocery store nearby. I was walking there, and like I walked upon one of our neighbors was like having a whole argument with these kids. Like there was a whole thing that happened, and I just like I pulled up my headphones and like talking to this guy who was watching. And he's like, oh yeah, they're having an argument. And I'm like looking at this guy and he's like, he just moved in. He's an immigrant from another country. And I'm like, oh, well, let's see if we can calm this down. And this guy's like, yeah, well, he needs to learn that he can't do this in his, like if where he's from, he may be able to do this, but he can't. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what does this have to do with like his, like they're having an argument? Like, why does this have to do with like the fact that he like doesn't understand America's norms? You know what I mean?
When you're an immigrant, like that's the thing people don't talk about. When you're an immigrant, people, and I'm saying Americans because I'm in America, but it's just people in general, it's kind of feel like they have a right to police you. They think it's not just, they think they have they get an extra citizen's right. You are not a citizen here, and it's their right to tell you how you can behave, what you can behave to treat you. Like, because they feel like you should be able to stay in line. There's so many times, every time somebody don't like me from the dawn of time, from the time I've been in America, every time somebody don't like me is I need to go back to my country is, oh, I'm a da-da-da-da-da, because people have this idea that you should not be able to operate like a complete, full, and autonomous being here. You should be meek and grateful and making yourself small and making yourself subservient. That's why people don't like the idea. It's funny. America sells the American dream to the rest of the world. America advertises itself to the rest of the world as a melting pot. Meanwhile, Americans fundamentally resent, are infuriated by the idea of an immigrant having anything in this country. And because they think you're not supposed to have anything because you're not from here, anything you do have, they see as you taking from somebody. It's funny because I would say as an immigrant, I have far less than I would have if I was an American. Like if I was an American, the amount of work and things I've accomplished, I'd be significantly more successful. But so many people resent me as an immigrant having anything that they look at you and they believe that you took something that's not deserving. You should not be able to be in this country and be anything. That's why they're only comfortable anytime they talk about why they should have immigrants is always in the context of doing jobs nobody else wants to do. It's always, oh, those people, we need this working class, we need this operation, but never, they can't stand. And that's why people feel so comfortable calling ICE and doing things like that. Anytime somebody don't like somebody, even down to Elon Musk, who he is, Elon Musk working, put the damn fucking president in, been there, all this, and next minute they stop fucking with him, they don't really like him, they going back with everybody. Oh, he should have his citizenship, he should be denaturalized, you should look into him. Trump like, oh, I'll look into that, because that's what they think. To be an immigrant is to always be at the mercy of, don't piss me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should take from you.
It's interesting too, because didn't the Trump administration just sign something or other that like would allow immigrants to still work for like farming communities or whatever? I think that was something that was recently signed, and it just speaks to that mindset of like, oh, we'll allow them when they're like working labor, like because they are so foundational to a lot of that industry, because like it functions a lot of like illegal immigration, and so it's like, oh, when you're like working labor, we'll let that sort of slide as long as it doesn't get too overt. But like anyone actually trying to hit that American dream of like actually uplifting themselves, like, no, we're going to put that fucking down. And it also like that melting pot metaphor is always so fascinating to me as like a metaphor in my brain, because it speaks to something that is like there's an assimilatory logic that everyone kind of wants. Yeah, it's like you need to assimilate into our culture and learn our values and learn our ways, and we don't want to learn any of your, like, we don't want to hear your language.
Yep.
We don't want you talking about it. You want you to be small. We don't want you to like be seen, especially if you're not a white person. Like, you just have to be try and fit our world. But like a melting pot even should be like everything sort of. I don't love it as a metaphor because it's about homogenization, everyone sort of being the same. But there is that sort of like fear. There's that undercurrent fear of so many, especially like white communities. Like when I was a kid, I heard this all the time of like, oh, did you know that we're going to be outnumbered by Latinos at some point in the future? And it's like this worry of like the dilution of whiteness in this country. Like, oh, we'll be a minority number. And so it's like, oh, that melting pot metaphor is like, oh, we don't want the flavor of like people of color to somehow override the whiteness that is our country. And so it's such a fascinating metaphor because it speaks to the assimilatory mindset, but also doesn't capture the like white fear of like, oh, the numbers game of like we need to constantly like that right-wing propaganda of we need to constantly have more fucking babies to like get more white people, so no,
you're absolutely right. Okay, now for fun.
Yes, fun times.
Hey guys, producer Aaron here. We spent some time doing a watch along to a new pilot for our cartoon called Guys Next Door. You should click the link in the description after the show and go watch it. It's really good. Then if you want to watch along with Olay and Jessie, become a member of the channel. We'll be posting the full watch along there. Back to the episode.
Good
This
things
shit is
about
so
that
good. I'm so excited for more episodes. I thought it was such a banger pilot.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I think it's sweet. I do like YouTube doing more animation stuff because it started kind of with why am I blanking on it? Oh God, now I'm blanking on the name of it. It's musical Angels and Demons one. Why am I blanking? I got picked up on Amazon Prime. Frack. Now it's bothering me.
Oh, is it the red and black show? It was mostly red and black colored.
Oh God.
Has Been Hotel.
Has Been Hotel. Thank you very much. Has Been Hotel. Yeah, it's very much like kind of started with Has Been Hotel, but there's been a few other ones. There was like a cat. There was like a fun
cat.
God, yeah, right. 1920s cat one. 1920s like cat one that I'm blanking on. Like it was like oh God, what am I blank? I'm blank. My brain is just dying now. The one where it's like cat, where you couldn't drink in the 1920s, so you couldn't have alcohol. Why am I blanking on the name? When like they made drinking illegal. What was that called?
Prohibition?
Prohibition. Yeah, it was like Prohibition Cat.
I was thinking, and my mind was like,
I was thinking about Bee and Puppy Cat.
No, there was an anime.
Said I thought Al Capone and Prohibition, but I was like, I must have dazed out. There
was a series, Lackadaisy. That's what it is. There's it's a series that's set in Prohibition era, but like they're cats, so they're gangster cats, like trying to deal with Prohibition. It was
like
really
literal
really
cats.
Well. Yeah, like literal cat, like cartoon cats.
Wait, I might be into that. Hold on, what's it called?
Lackadaisy. Yeah, it's like Prohibition. It's set in the 1920s. During Prohibition, and like they're gangster cats.
Ooh,
so
I like how they look.
Yeah, it's a very cool art style.
It's funny though. It's interesting how they're cats, but like I receive them as not being black.
Yeah. I can very much see that.
Like,
it's like, yeah, those aren't black cats. Yeah,
it's so funny. Me and CJ. We laugh about how all our animals are black, and it tickles us because they do like black people things, like Cleophas. When Cleophas,
did you know Dropout, right?
I love Dropout.
I think Aaron's mentioned it to me before.
Dropout's like a distributing service. They do a really funny bit, but they do like they do this show where they do PowerPoint presentations. And there was this guy who made this point about like all the different characters who would be welcome to like the cookout, like black characters like Goofy and all that jazz, like anime characters. But there was a fun bit that he made a very funny argument, which was like, look, we know Miles Morales, like the Spiderman, is a black character, right?
Mhm.
But like with the hood on, no one knows that. So like no
Right.
one knows that he's like representing black people. And so like I think that Spider-Man has an obligation to start using the N-word.
That's
So
so.
that
First
people
of
know.
all, Spider-Man's daddy, Miles Morales' father, is a cop, so he's not getting invited to the cookout regardless.
Yes. There's a very complicated, because that was Spider-Man into the Across the Spider-Verse movie is like I really like that movie a lot, but it has that
Riddled with propaganda.
well, that's the weird thing where it's a 2-part movie.
Yeah.
So it's like if you watch part 1, it's like this isn't necessarily Copoganda. It could go against like it actually has a very anti-fascist message in it. But then I could see they haven't finished the second part yet, so I'm like, oh, this could definitely turn in part 2 to be suddenly very Copaganda.
They've got them a bunch of good a bunch of Copaganda. When I went to go see that, my friend dragged me to the theater to see it, fellow public defender, former and it started, and we're like, and I looked at him and I was like, how much longer is this? Like, how much longer is this? CJ is let me just say this. CJ is a Spider-Man stan. So there's only so much Spider-Man slander and propaganda pointing out I can get off in this house because he's a stan. We have CJ got every single Funko Pop of every kind of Spider-Man there is boxed like in his office. He loves Spider-Man, so I don't say nothing but Spider-Man is a shit ton of propaganda. And every single Spider-Man. Like,
I know.
All.
It is interesting though, because they do in the Spider-Man video games, they do have Spider-Man working with a cop, and it is very Copaganda, like, oh, you're a good cop shit. But then they do the sequels and they removed that, which is interesting. They like cut some of that out. I'm like, huh. That's an interesting response to that.
It be there in the frame. The thing is, it be there even beyond just like, oh, who's a cop and who's working with it. It be there in the way that they have Spider-Man. Spider-Man, we walking, chilling, doing everything, but suddenly when he needs to fight crime, he jumps on the subway to Brooklyn, and they show you the Brooklyn stops or whatever as they like. So it's there in all these other ways. In the first Spider-Man, they have him where the guy is an asshole. He competes in that fight to get some money, whatever, to buy that car. The guy that's supposed to give him the money for his prize doesn't give it to him. And so when that guy goes to get robbed and gets beat up, which that guy fucking deserved. So Spider-Man rightfully did not fucking help Toby. And then they have that guy like kill his uncle 2 seconds later. So you go like, did you see
stopped him?
Never let the criminals get away. Never do that. Like that's
well, that's like that's kind of all superhero shit is like status quo defenders in a lot of senses. The one that was the most overt one to me was, and I even kind of enjoyed the movie, the Batman movie, the Matt Reeves one.
Yeah,
where it's like they very
Twilight guy.
With Twilight guy, yeah,
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. I don't actually hate that movie. However, they get so close because like the whole movie is like Batman is up against the system. Like the cops are all corrupt. He literally has this whole scene where he gets captured by the cops and he like has to escape them and they try to beat him up and it's like very like starts off being very anti-cop, but then he still works with Gordon, who is not the commissioner at that point, and they have this whole point at the end of the episode or the end of the movie where Batman's bringing out the criminal and Gordon's like, hey, hashtag not all cops, and he like comes out and it's like this shot of like, look at all these good cops that actually exist. Like the cop system may be corrupt, but there are good cops and you can reform the system. Like you guys got so close, but you just had to do the hashtag not all cops moment.
That's why honestly, you know who we need them to make something of, like try to put on? Robin Hood. That's what we need. Give me something I could get with. Robin Hood, like give me some Robin Hood. Hire a real finey to play Robin Hood, get him a budget, give it some action.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Like character, the Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. I was literally about to say,
he's literally an anarchist.
Losers play him.
They do
have losers,
but that's why
I'm had a real faithful Green Arrow adaptation.
No, because like real Green Arrow is like straight, like he is a billionaire, so there's that element of it. But he like is very much an anarchist in like super left wing politics, and so I'd be curious if James, because knowing James Gunn, I could see.
Be right back, y'all.
I could see if they do a Green Arrow show or a Green Arrow movie in the James Gunn verse. I could see him doing a very faithful adaptation of that.
Yeah, I feel like it will never be. I don't think it could ever be as faithful as like they are able to do it in the comics, because I feel like once it's brought to screen, like
there's too many billionaires and with fingers in that pie to really be
right. And also with how much like the movie industry like relies on like police and the military to do like to get locations, to like help with like research, and also like funding for when they're using any sort of military like props in movies. Like they get actual tanks and materials from the military to be able to shoot that stuff. So it's like there's only so much they can do.
It also reminds me of like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, which are very weirdly pro-military. Like they're very like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies are like oddly pro-military in a very weird way. It's very strange.
Interesting. I haven't seen them yet, and I wanted to because I heard they were good.
They're fun. They're fun. Whatever movies. Like they're not like amazing, but like they're like if you're bored and you need a little fun like light entertainment that you don't want to like think too much about. They're fun. They're enjoyable, but they are very like pro-military. Like Sonic works with the military all the time, and there's like a good general. There's like even in the third movie, the most recent one, they make a point of like this general like has like been like hiding Shadow in like a military base for years and been treating him badly, but then the movie like kind of still goes out of the way going to be like, but he's actually a good general and he's learned from his ways, and you know like it's like it's just like those movies are oddly pro-military in a very strange way.
After torturing and imprisoning this being for decades, I have decided that was wrong. My bad.
Yeah,
and
they do
we
kill.
Can move on from this.
Yeah, and it is like the video game. It's very different from the video games because in the video game Sonic Adventure 2, there's this whole thing where
did they give Shadow a gun?
They did in fact give Shadow a gun, which is amazing. But no, in the video game, they do have this whole thing where Maria is like the daughter or granddaughter of Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Robotnik's grandfather, whatever. Maria's this girl who in the games gets killed by the military. Like the military just straight up shoots a child. But in the movie, they change it to be like Dr. Robotnik kind of like just runs out for no reason, and the military is like trying to stop him, and then accidentally shoots like a barrel that like blows up that kills Maria. So it's much more like accidental than in the games where it's like, oh, the military straight
instead
up kills.
Of collateral damage. It's
it's straight up like, no, they just shot a kid without any worries, which is much more realistic. But yeah, the movies just like have to make it accidental and like have it be like. Yeah,
I mean, it's probably because they're like, it's like specifically like we're targeting kids and families with this, like...
but the games are like, there's the games like Sonic like literally like is against the president, the military's trying to track him down, but in the movies he's like he works with the military. Right. So yeah.
I guess in that case it's kind of the same thing of like it's a video games, while still like a huge industry, is a much smaller medium than mainstream like movie and television.
Yeah,
like at least it's seen that way by like,
and it's starting to get more that way, bigger now, where there's a lot more like, you know, moneyed interests in it. So
yeah, I feel like mostly because of all the adaptations they're making. They're like, it's making them realize like, oh, there's stuff to be mined here. Like,
yeah, because they've mined comics for all of their fucking worth. They mined like TV shows that they've like been books they've been doing. So now it's like, all right, well, let's go to video games. That's the next area to mine. And it's been doing decently well for them in a bunch of different areas. So like Sonic has been doing well. There's a few other ones that have done decently well for them. Mario,
Last of Us, although I think the second season, I didn't watch the second season.
Second season's bad. I mean, like there's Jack Saint, by the way, if you know him as a YouTuber, I'm assuming, right? He's doing a really good series like breaking down the Zionist perspective that is inherent in a lot of the Last of Us games, so I'd recommend his videos on it. But even beyond that element of it, like there's some interesting stuff in those games, but that I do like once you deconstruct some of that stuff. But like the show, like one of the things that pisses me off the most, for example, and there's like the weird way they write fucking women in that show bothers me. Like the fungus like kisses her in the like what's her face in the first season, and I'm like, that's weird. It's like this weird sexual assaulty thing with her.
I was like, why? When I saw that, I was like, why is they like attack and like jump on like
Mhm.
everyone else. I think that I saw like a justification was because she like already had it in her system
Yeah, but it's
or
like, but you
something,
didn't need
but
to
like it
replicate
made no
that imagery.
sense.
Yeah, they don't need to replicate. It's like weird sexual soul imagery that they just like, but it's love, and I'm like, that's such dude writing women energy that annoys me.
Yeah.
And then also in season 2, they like take Abby, who is this like I actually really find Abby to be a fascinating character in the game, but she's like this buff woman who like is like super muscly and like literally has been training her whole life to like kill this guy, and then they make her like this petite girl in the show because like you need to have it can't be like this, you can't have a buff chick in the show, you have to have a petite pretty girl.
It's just so
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's again like, oh, we need to Hollywoodize it. We need to have like pretty women. We can't
Did
have
they
women
his
be
death
too.
be the same?
His
Or-
death is his death is the same, but they also give you like her entire backstory right up front, so you sympathize with her. Like the whole point
Yeah.
of the game is like you hate her, and then there's the shift where you like kind of come to know her, but
and
they
then
like
you find out where she is. who
yeah,
she
and
is,
then you soften, but the show softens her where like you know why she's killing him, so you understand her perspective. She's like this petite, very conventionally attractive girl. So like there's nothing like for you to like the show. People still hated her because
they
misogyny.
erased the butch
but-
representation.
But it's like,
gone.
but the point of the game again, with the like the asterisk of like there is very like Zionist elements to like some of the story, that like need to be deconstructed. But like the interesting part of the game was like, here's this girl who is like a buff, gender nonconforming woman who our culture generally teaches us to hate, and the
Right.
game says hate this girl, and then it forces you to sit with forces you to like her, and that's like a part of a lot of the misogyny that came at like the hatred that came at that game was like they like we fucking hate Abby, and there's like a lot of misogyny and also transphobia mixed in there as well, not even just at the trans character but towards her in a weird way, towards like gender non-conforming stuff. And it's like this interesting element of like forcing people to try to identify with someone that our culture very much dehumanizes and tells us not to identify with. And then the show just goes, but what if she was a petite pretty woman who we totally understand? Oh, we'll still hate, you should still fucking hate her because you should hate fucking women, which is like it is like kind of like what people got from it, but it's still like it just softens her in a way that like is not conscious of what was kind of interesting about the whole concept from the beginning. So yeah.
I got a series of unfortunate events in the mail.
Oh, I love that book series so much.
CJ did. We have on CJ and I have a whole thing where we're like getting the books that we like really love from our childhood to like have there whatever for our future kids. And so a series of unfortunate events was his pick.
I have literally on that shelf down there my Animorph books and my my series of unfortunate events. I have first editions.
See,
and,
you get first
I have
editions.
first editions of all of those books except for Reptile Room. I did not get Reptile Room.
Well, that's so fucking dope.
And I have my copy of The Bad Beginning is signed too. So.
Oh, that's dope as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope as fuck. The closest I get to any kind of flexes is I love like knowing like authors. Like somebody's like, okay, so it's like, oh, that's my friend who wrote that.
Yep. I have a few of those as well. It's like, oh yeah, I have that book because my friend wrote it. But yeah, no, I have first editions of all that, Animorphs. You know the book series that I haven't gone back to, but I've been thinking about, and like I should go back and see if those were good or not. Was the Among the series? You remember the Among the Hidden, Among the Imposters? Remember that series or whatever?
I don't know that one.
No, it was a series. I read it a bunch in it was like elementary school, middle school, but it was a series about in a sort of dystopian future where because all these kids books are dystopian futures where America's instituted a 2-child policy. And so the main character is the third child, and they like straight up murder any kids that are third children. So like the first book is he finds out that this rich, this kid is like, he lives in a farm, and like they start like building houses where he used to live. So he now has to hide in his parents' attic all the time. He can't go out. And then he realizes that the rich people that moved across the street like have a third kid as well. So he befriends her, and she very much wants to be like, she's sort of that like upper class, like I want to rail against the system kind of vibe, where she's like, I'm going to go protest. I'm going to go up to the White House. We're going to all protest. We're going to form a coalition of like third child kids. And then the book, this is just the ending of the first book, so spoilers for it, but like she does that and he kind of chickens out the last minute, and they literally like shoot them all, like they kill all the kids. And so the first book ends with like the main character being like, all right, they're gonna try and find you, so we're gonna ship you off to another school and pretend that you're like another kid, like a second child, not a third child. So it's like a really interesting, like, I'm curious to see
the rich girl across the street.
The rich girl dies. Yeah, she dies in the first book. So it's like an interesting sort of like, all right, it's an interesting one of those.
This was a kid series, was that?
There's a kid series, yeah. Each book is only like 150 pages.
With all this tragedy?
Yeah. I remember it being
Yes.
very traumatizing reading as a kid.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably too much because like we have The Giver on the shelf, like, and every time CJ walks past it, he feels a need to remind me of how them killing the baby in The Giver caused him to cry and caused him real trauma. And I'm like, that was just one killing. You just said they kill all the children. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, they straight up like murder them all. Yeah.
Who's the book by?
Haddock, something like that. I'm trying to remember her name.
Yeah, you said it's what series?
Among the Hidden is the first book.
Among the Hidden.
Let's see. It's called
Among the Hidden.
I read it once when I was a young kid. That whole series. It's called The Shadow Children Sequence. Is the name. Margaret Peterson Haddocks is the name.
The Shadow Children. Okay, I got it.
So it's an interesting. I have to reread it because it's one of those.
I like the artwork, or I like how it's packaged.
Yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't read it since I was a kid, so I don't know if it holds up, but I remember liking it a lot as a kid. So.
I'm gonna get it.
It was published 14 days before I was born.
I could get, wow.
Wait, how old are you? Jesus Christ, don't make me feel, God.
26.
26, fuck you. I hate you.
I can get this entire series for $27, so I'm gonna do
it's
that.
very cheap. It's one of those ones that like I remember a lot from being when I was a kid, but I just hasn't, like it didn't stay in the cultural consciousness, so.
I never heard of it, but I'm buying it now.
So I have to reread. Like I won't defend it necessarily in the sense. Like I remember liking it as a kid. It may not hold up, but I remember liking it as a kid. So
you know what I hate?
When it turns into racist propaganda, I'll come back and be like, Jessie recommended this.
The final book is just like murder all the immigrants, kill all black people. It's like very racist at the end. Like, oh shit, fuck, what did I do?
All like the whole country was white the whole time.
Oh god,
it's a very strange one.
I love. There's so many things you don't notice in anything until like there's somebody who points it out to you, and I love people like that. Like you sort of you're like, what are you talking about? And then they explain it to you. I'm basically like that for my big sister. We watch all the same things. We get on the phone and she always has the take that I would curse somebody out for, and then I'm like, "Bam, no," and she's like, "What? No, Yemi." And then by the time I finish, she's like, "Oh, okay." Like at most, maybe usually starts with my big sister going, "Yemi, you think it's that serious?" Yes. I think it's that serious, Bim.
I was at a comic convention the other weekend, and I had to like explain to this like kind of like 40-year-old guy why. I like this movie, but like how problematic the original Ghostbusters is.
I've actually never seen Ghostbusters. I did watch the movies. Netflix has the movies that made us, so I watched their movies that made us about Ghostbusters, but I never seen it.
The first Ghostbusters movies is very fun, but it does have a whole plot where Bill Murray's character, he's a professor at a college, and the very opening scene is he's hitting on one of his students, and he's very overtly like hitting on one of his students. And then the rest of the movie is like him creepily kind of low-key stalking Sigourney Weaver's character, and it's played off as like fun, like, well, you scamp kind of thing.
He also dismisses a lot of her like initial
concerns,
worries that could have prevented a lot of the events of the movie because he was like, "You silly woman."
Yeah, I watch that. I find Bill Murray fascinating because he looks so. I love like celebrities that you see and maybe from a particular context, so you like they come off remarkably wholesome, and then you find out that like
oh god, no,
could be further from the truth. Like I love that. Like it was so fun finding out Bill Murray's like a little bit like difficult to work with and a diva and like a little bit of a curmudgeon and shit. I'm like, whoa, who would have known? Not being like that.
Yeah, and it's like shit like that. Like Neil Gaiman's one of the worst ones. Like, oh shit, he seemed like a really cool Neil Gaiman. Literally one of my favorite
that you have in one of our productions, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
I don't know who Gaiman was this day.
Neil Gaiman was one of my favorite authors of all time, and then he genuinely very much assaulted a lot of women, and like, it was not very great.
I've never heard of that, man. I don't know.
Really,
it's for the best.
It was crazy because he had some like really good like like progressive ideas in a lot of his writing, and then it's just like
It's very that Joss Whedon thing of like, oh, they speak up too much about being feminists, and then it's like, it's like, okay, it's there. He literally even has like a whole issue of a comic book that he wrote that was literally like a guy kidnaps a woman so he can like suck her powers from her and use her, and it's like very much him being this very liberal guy. He's like, I care about women, and it's like, oh. So that wasn't a critique. That was you just displaying yourself. Yeah. So.
Wait, babe. Stop what you're doing and listen up. You just watched a video on one of my channels, but the Illuminati verse is huge, and I want to tell you what everything is and how to find it. The Illuminati verse has 6 channels. On the YouTube homepage of any one of those channels, every single channel in the Illuminati verse is featured at the bottom of the page, so you can always easily find them. Okay? Remember I said that. Don't say I ain't tell you how to find it. Subscribe to my main channel, Illuminati, to find my Illuminati productions, which are my long form video essays, and also all of my backlog of content. Subscribe to my second love child, Illuminati Pop, for my weekly video essays analyzing my favorite TV and movie shows and characters. Illuminati Pop also has its own Patreon where you get all of those videos uncensored. Subscribe to my channel, Olay and Friends, for my podcast, Olay and Friends. New episodes of Olay and Friends come out every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe to Olay and Chill for new episodes of my podcast, Olay and Chill, every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And also, both Olay and Friends and Olay and Chill are both available on streaming platforms like Spotify. Subscribe to Illuminati Bites if you want my takes, but you don't have an hour to spend. Subscribe to Illuminati Politics for my political analysis and my State of the Union type addresses on my show O Squared. And last but not least, subscribe to my Substack Illuminati for my written work.